Hi, guys, and welcome to a new style of episode on my channel. Rick Paul, spiritual medium, psychic, and thought therapist. Let's just go with those labels for now. Right, in front of you, there I am, sat looking really strange with this mask over my face. Right, reasoning for it is that as I've started out on this venture with everything that I've come out with, there's been one or two people that have fed back to me that they're doubting my sort of validity, who I am as a person, and they're not quite sure what I'm about. Right, I'm on here I'm always on here to sort of drum up business, but that's not my main drive. I'm a very real guy, and I struggle at times with anxiety and depression. And I just thought that my journey through life, as eccentric as it's been, that if I can sort of relay some of my experiences and people can take from my experience, then it might be able to promote healing and help one or two people out of a rut or something like that. And I say this many, many times, I'm not here as a know-it-all. I'm just trying to navigate my way through life. So I'm looking for some inspiration and things like that. And when I came upon this, how do I cope? So I've had some great help just recently from fellow YouTubers that have helped me produce content, how to market, how to put things across. And I realised that with anything in life, it's how you take charge of situations that are going on around you that will decide whether there's going to be any momentum or anything with it. So I'm an overthinker and an overanalyzer, and I've had a background in depression and anxiety. So I want to get to this point quick because I want to get this mask off because it's sweaty and uncomfortable underneath here, but there is a point to it. So to cope with my stress and anxiety, I've devised all of these characters in my life, and they all fulfill a role. There's part of me that's that eccentric, humorous person that takes the mickey out of people, and we have a laugh, and then we have a joke, and it raises the vibration and raises people's energy. There is the medium and psychic side of me that has been fortunate enough to tour up and down this country, doing mediumship readings, psychic events and demonstrations and private functions. Another part that I really enjoy doing. Now, this is the one that is what I would call my nemesis, the dark side, the dark lord. So I want you to take an opportunity to step on board my SS Mad World spaceship and meet this person behind the mask. Now, the person with the mask on is what I call the negative narrator. Now, the negative narrator is very destructive. So now I've introduced you to him, I'm going to take the mask off and we're going to work with his energies. Now, that's the funny thing, right, as you're working, because obviously it's me underneath, it's no different face or anything like that. But it's amazing how much influence that when that mask goes on, the mindset that's there. So recently, after a bereavement and various other episodes of depression and anxiety, I've started to get hold of what my thoughts are, how I'm processing my thoughts, what's leading me to believe that I'm in the state that I'm in, or that I'm believing what I'm believing. I, as a therapist, always look at how you strip people's thoughts down, as how you help them reorganize, help them manage their mind so that you can help them change direction. So my work is all about helping people towards self-empowerment. But if you're anything like me, one of the worst people to sort of treat and help is yourself, because you might be full of good advice and how to proceed on for others, but you're not so good at taking it on board yourself. So I started to look at how I've managed my stress and anxiety, and that's always been to mask. Right, there's going to be future discussions on this when I go through it and get my head around it. But I've always hidden away in sort of characters and things like that. And as I was saying, under the mask, those have always been productive. Now, this particular one, Right, the negative narrator. Now, the negative narrator, let me tell you how difficult it is to deal with this. So imagine that you've got this commentary that's going on. I imagine there's people out there watching. Well, we've all got that little inner voice. Yes, maybe we have. I don't truthfully know that. But this destructive, negative commentary that goes round in my head from the second that I wake up to the second that I go to bed is always there. I've never quite found a way to shut it off. But as I've got older, I've learned not to listen to it so much. So I've learned how to tweak the volume down. So the negative narrator is not always based on evidence. It's not always based on experiences or things that I'm actually dealing with at the moment. It's just this running commentary of, you're not good enough. You know, why would you think like that? You know, don't get above yourself. And it's all of the negative connotations that you can imagine. But it's like an overlay. So things there will be presenting in a really good way. And then in the background is this muffled voice that is telling me that I'm not good enough. I can't, you know, I'm not good enough to achieve what I want to. I can't set goals and things like that because I'm inconsistent, or my timing is not very good. All of the things that you wouldn't say to anybody else because it would delay them or hold them back from what they want to achieve. So what I've decided to do in the end is actually recognize that character in me, that person that is part of my psyche. I've done my level best to ignore. I have done my best over the years to drown it out with alcohol. I have had counseling. I have had all of the guidance from mentors that you could wish to have. I have had medication, all of those. And this way of thinking has never gone away. So me being me, and I always say this bluntly, you are the best judge of your character out there. You know what fits you and how best to manage your own psyche. My work on here is not about instruction. It's on about helping people understand how they process large chunks of information, feelings, where they might put it, what influences it has on their life, and finding a strategy to help you find a way out of that darkness. So I started to think, right, I'm going to be a little bit selfish here. I'm going to pull all of this energy back that I so freely give to other people, and I'm going to apply it to my own systems, because I'm not one of these that's sitting here and saying, do as I say. My idea is to just share my experiences and hope that some people might be able to modify them and go, oh, right, I've just seen that from a different perspective. I might be able to put that in and use that. And that gives me just great thrill. It really does give me that real big upliftment. But the negative narrator is a tough fighter. Been with me as long as I've been aware of my ability to think, overthink, analyze, get depressed, go into the darkness. So he's not one that's going to fade into the background easily. So I thought, rather than go to war with it, would it not be better to sit like all of the brokers do, the peace negotiators, and actually sit down and find out what's going on? Can we broker a deal? So I was fascinated a few years back when I started my analytical hypnotherapy journey to see this process called parts therapy. Now, I haven't really looked into what parts therapy entails in a great deal of detail, but it was the outlay of it that I liked, that the mind is actually made up of various different parts of your psyche. And I thought, oh, that's good. So a lot of them are positive, and then you've got the odd one in there that's fear, that's anxiety, that represents some of the darker stuff and the more difficult stuff that we have to go through. But the idea with parts therapy is to actually sit down with that part under hypnosis and negotiate with them, so that the stronger parts that are positive take on board everything else that is being said, and then put something into place, into process that is beneficial for the human being as a whole. So that got me thinking, right, so my way of thinking this is influenced by a comic called The Beezer, which is, if you're watching abroad, you might not know this, but there was a comic in England where I live called The Beezer, and in there was a set of characters called the numbskulls, and the numbskulls lived in John's head. So basically, in John's head was a thought box, and the numbskulls put in things on bits of paper, and then John acted accordingly. And how to eat, how to walk, how, if he met anybody, what sort of conversation to have. So I got that in my head, and it's always fascinated me. I wonder if that would actually work in practice. So I started having a bit of a smile about this, and then I suddenly thought, right, as a character actor myself, I have masked, I've hidden away from what my true self is, and I've got used to playing that role of deflection, to push away my real feelings, and I hide behind these masks and these characters. But I thought, but the hero of this play needs to be me. I need to be the boss, the chairman, whatever it is that you want to know, the CEO of my own psyche, of my own mind. People have often said to me that, I wish I was on your planet for a while. Well, this is where I'm giving you that opportunity. So how my mindset has gone with all of this is to say, right, I am the chairman. I am the managing director of Rick Paul Enterprises. Whatever it is that I want to do, there will be many different sides of my psyche that make up this universe that I inhabit. So instead of fighting now with this darkness, because I do have to deal with a lot of depression and anxiety, that I don't take medication, I choose not to. I am not diagnosed with anything particular disorder. I exhibit traits of it, but truthfully, I don't want to go down that route of going on waiting lists, and I certainly can't afford to get a private diagnosis. So I look at how I manage and handle my own thoughts and feelings. So managing the negative narrator, I will hear him out. So imagine going into a boardroom, if you like, and you call in all sides of your psyche, the fun part, the uplifted part, the childhood memories that have given you so much joy over life, the people that are around you that give you that fulfillment, all those aspects when you go out and meet people and do what you do in a successful way, they'll all come in. But I used to hide the one that was dark, that was nervous, that was scared, that was worthless, all of those negatives. But I invite them all into the meeting. And key to all of this for mind management for me, I'm not sort of saying to anybody whatsoever that this is how you need to go out and do this, but this is what works for me. So I imagine being in that boardroom, in that board meeting, and there's an agenda. So we've got something that we need to do that requires a decision to enable us to go forward. Right, I want everybody to submit a proposal of what your viewpoint is. What can you bring to the table? So you will get, it's like in any walk of life, really, you will get those people that are confident with public speaking. They've got this ability to talk, get their self across, do it in a positive way, and get support. Then you will get people there that are on the other side of it, where they will push, and it's kind of like, you will do, you've got to follow what I say, or things are bad are going to happen. Right, okay, right, you put your point across, thank you, that's all been logged in. Then I've got those elements of me that feel worthless, that don't feel like they justify the space on this earth, because that's how depressive thoughts can go. You don't want to give them any fuel or anything like that, but they can certainly have an influence in your mindset. So sit down and take time out to listen to that. Right, thank you very much. And I always do this in gratitude as well. Thank you for having the courage to bring that to me, negative or positive. And this is where my mindset comes in. So what you're looking at here, 52-year-old, father of 3, ex-prison officer, many different jobs throughout the years, a touring medium and psychic. All of these parts of me are all relevant, and then they're not relevant at the same time. But the whole, the essence, is me, Rick Paul, the man, right? The person that's sitting here in front of you, producing this production, if you like, and the book stops with him. So I will consider all aspects. Sometimes I might go away and have a brew while I consider. Sometimes I'll take my dogs out for a walk, and then we'll reconvene the meeting a little bit later on and sit there, and I will present my findings. And my mindset is, I'm in charge. Right? Whatever's going on, whatever trauma I've been through, whatever I'm imagining, whatever I've realistically experienced, I'm in charge of what happens next. Because if I'm not in charge of what happens next, why am I worried? Why am I stressing? So the negative narrator has been heard. He's not been dismissed, because he is part and parcel of me, because he's such a constant. And this is where you have to have that strength of character to turn around and bang that gavel down really noisily and draw the meeting to a close. Thank you guys for presenting that. Thank you for showing me the negatives. Thank you for showing me the light. Thank you for bringing the benefit of your wisdom. Thank you for pointing out the pitfalls of where this is going to be. But this is my decision. This is what I have decided that I'm going to do after research, because I don't like knee-jerk reactions. I like to look into what I'm doing. So my thought processes are: be in charge of your true self. Take time out to get to know who your true self is. You know, if you're a predominantly negative thinker, then you're going to have more predominantly negative experiences. If you're aware of your shortcomings, you can make allowances for them, as you would make allowances for other people if they presented with a mental health difficulty or grieving or sadness or whatever it is that they were going through. You, if you're watching my channel, I'm fairly confident that you would give those people the allowances and the space that they needed to process whatever they brought to the table. Give yourself the same benefit of the doubt. Give yourself that same space to process all of this sort of thing. So I'm coming towards the end of this broadcast, because what I'm being taught as I go along, because I say I'm not a great exponent of all of this. I don't really know how to work it. I've just got this idea in my mind that something that I say, some experience that I've had, will help people process something to give them the healing and that peace of mind that they're looking for. If you want to have any more discussions with me, please feel free to comment in the section below with the comments. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm always grateful for everybody that subscribes. Put your opinion, put whatever it is that you want to put down on there. But let's keep this channel positive, right? I'm not on here to be a figure of fun or anything like that. I'm just on here to be honest. If you would like to contact me for any more details about the work that I do, that is rickjpaul at hotmail.co.uk or mediumrick007@gmail.com. So that's two emails for you, and I will put the links in the description. So for now, as I go along this journey, because like having this neuro spicy head, this journey could go anywhere and it could go nowhere. But as I get to end of any videos, is to just say thank you for having time out with me. If you've watched this all the way through, and I genuinely appreciate it. If you know better than what I do, then please feel free to put down the benefit of your wisdom. But like I always do say to people, I'm in charge. Right? Nobody can make you feel in any way whatsoever. It's the way that you respond to the things that are given to you. So what I wish for you all that's watching this is a peaceful existence. And if you're not living a peaceful existence, take time out to discover what you can do to make your life that much more settled. And don't listen to the negative narrator. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio.